Hello and welcome to the Greyhawk channel. I am Tommy, Imperator Pengu, the Dungeon Master of the Paradox Report. This is a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition campaign set in the free city of Greyhawk, about 3 years post the Greyhawk Wars. Before we sort of get into a little bit more about the show, let's go around the virtual tabletop here and meet our amazing cast. Let's go to my right here. Let's start with Stella. Stella, how you doing today?
Hello, hello. I am Stella Luna, and I'm doing very, very well. Thank you.
Awesome. And who will you be playing today?
Today I will be playing Rue. She is a half-elf rogue. However, she is not your traditional rogue. She is more of the inquisitive type. And her background is she was once part of the City Watch. So she used to talk to people whenever their sweet rolls went missing.
Yes, those nefarious sweet roll thieves of... What is this? This is 87, so of 86. After the wars, they're just, they're smaller things became more the spice of life as opposed to all of the massive battles that happened beforehand. Now let's move on down next to Ryan.
Good evening. I'm Ryan at GMORPC on Twitter. Today I'll be playing Owen Sisgodel, a Sheddarkai elf wizard.
Wonderful. It'll be very interesting, I think, for everyone to find out just how a Shadowkai ended up in this material plane. We'll see if what happens. Moving on, we're heading over to Wild next.
Yes, hi, I'm Wild Engineer. I am playing Yuan-Ti Storm Herald Barbarian. They're not very smart, but they've been a bounty hunter for quite a amount of time, so they're pretty good at attacking and tracking people down.
That is probably going to be useful. Probably going to be very useful. And of course, V.
Hello everybody, I am V Perky, and tonight and for future nights I will be playing Vestin Valgalia, a high elf sorcerer. So that's kind of a bit odd, but I think he'll fit in greatly with everybody. So yeah.
Wonderful. I am super excited to meet all of your characters in play and see what happens. Before we get started, just a few things about the world. This is, I'd like to preface this by saying this is our own Greyhawk. We're playing in the Greyhawk world, but things are going to work as they fit into sort of our story, our narrative, and how they fit into sort of the character's world. We'll also be using, probably very heavily, the Rule of Cool and some homebrew rules that I enjoy playing with and that I've run by all of my players beforehand. So, if things happen and that's not how it happens in the book, it's probably because we homebrewed it or it was cool. But yeah, going on next, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors that help keep this channel alive and bringing content to you every season. First and foremost, our Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers. Thank you. It's because of you that all these new shows were able to come up this season, and all the shows that are continuing are able to continue. All of our games are powered by Roll20, the world's leading virtual tabletop. The Greyhawk channel is now officially supported by Roll20, and you can try it out for free at roll20.net. Heroic Maps is our official battle map sponsor. You can check out their library of more than 300 maps on DriveThru RPG. tabletop loot. You can go to tabletoploot.com and enter Greyhawk, one word, in the coupon code box and get 15% off your dice order. Our Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers also get coupon codes to ruinc.com and Cantrip Candles. You can find that in the private section of the Discord. And if you haven't yet, I recommend joining the Discord channel. You can see the link below that'll take you to the Discord channel, where you can interact with cast members and other Greyhawk channel crew and members and community. Yeah. The last thing I'd love to talk about before we really dive into the story is that on this channel, we use safety tools. Safety tools are a way of making sure that everyone feels safe and comfortable at the table, even as we push sort of the boundaries of the themes and topics we go over. The most important goal of our table is to make sure everyone has fun and enjoys the game. If you're interested in finding out more, you can... I don't think I have to figure out who sets up the macros on the chat box because I do not have a link to that yet. But if you go to @KianaS on Twitter, she has a Twitter moment posted to the top there with the links to everything safety tools related. It's a great tool that really, really lets us really delve into more, sometimes darker or more personal subjects that you wouldn't always do because you just don't know if you don't ever bring it up. So that's why I love using safety tools in this game. If you're in chat and we ever start bringing up a topic that is a bit sensitive, you can let us know by hitting the X. That means that the subject is very, very difficult for you. Now, we will, if it's very pertinent to the story, we may continue on. However, we will be willing to let you know when the subject has ended, for you to safely come back into the chat, to come back, restart listening again to the channel. But do feel free to let us know. If you really like what's going on, hit the O button. That lets us know you like what's happening in game and to keep doing it. But with that out of the way, let's get in the Paradox Report. Billy Two Fingers was a self-proclaimed master thief. Didn't matter if his status with the guild still said small finger. He knew he was good. Which is why he was up here in mid-district today. Night, really. Well outside the zone he was normally allowed to operate in. Bunch of fascists, the leaders of the thieves' guilds were. Nah, Billy Two Fingers was gonna do his own thing from now on, starting with this job tonight. Breaking into the mansion had been laughably easy. And what a treasure trove this place had been. His burlap sack was already almost full from just the cutlery and the candlesticks in the living room. Now he was exploring upstairs, hoping to find the jackpot, maybe a safe full of gold or boxes of jewelry. As he eased the door open, there was not a single creak from it. Hinges well oiled. He held in a laugh. It was great when the rich Mox made it easy on him. You want to stop a thief? Make sure the floorboards and the hinges creak like hell. His smile was immediately wiped away as a putrid smell hit his nose. He shone the light of his thieves' lantern into the room, and the sight inside nearly made him lose his supper. Billy immediately slammed the door shut and started beating a hasty retreat to his exit. The city watch wouldn't catch him near no murder scene. He was a simple thief, believing in relieving others of their belongings, not their lives. He nearly startled himself as the floorboard creaked beneath his foot. Funny, it hadn't creaked before. Must have skipped that one. Then he froze as he felt a chill wind pass through him, and the light of his lantern winked out. He immediately drew his dagger and pointed it towards the darkness, trying to regain his night vision. Another creak throughout what he'd been sure was an empty house. I've got a knife, and I know how to use it. You know what's good for ya? You leave me alone. No reply. Maybe he was just getting a little jumpy. He slowly started creeping back towards the stairs, keeping his ears open. sudden prickling feeling along the back of his neck, hairs standing on end, caused him to whip around. What the? It's a beautiful summer morning. It is perhaps the first or second week of the summer season. The days have started becoming warmer. Rain has kept around, but today there's not a cloud in sight. A bright yellow sun filling the sky. Wild, where do we find Crichton in the mornings before he heads to the guild?
Right. Creighton Marnoch would be going over any bounties he hasn't been able to catch yet. He's kind of like going over where they may be seen, seeing if any of them just happen to be around the guild house, and rolling them up, sighing because he can't work on them today. Maybe doesn't know how long. Maybe they'll even be caught before he gets a chance to work on them again. So he's just resigned to knowing the day is already kind of spent for him.
Yeah. It's probably, I think it's been a little bit of a dry spell for a couple days. I feel like a lot of the lot of bounties you've been given recently have just been mostly small fish. Couple of no-gooders who ran out on their bill at a local tavern. Petty theft and whatnot. Nothing that's really gotten sort of Crichton's rage up, that really satisfied sort of what I feel like he wants out of the bounties that he goes after. Where do you get breakfast for the day?
I feel like Creighton probably just head out to the sea and go for a quick swim. Trying to maybe catch a fish or two, just eat it whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Could you describe a little bit of sort of what does Creighton look like? He's a yuan-ti, but they come in many shapes and sizes.
Right. So Creighton is, he's essentially a crate snake. So he's a very amphibious, or a water snake. He's banded with like white and black bands, and his tail is not pointed, it's more flat and about the same size as the rest of his body to make like a swimming paddle. So it's easier for him to move around underwater.
Yeah, and I think you're a well accomplished sort of fisher hunter. Is it really fishing if you're like diving after them? Hunting? Who knows?
Some call it fishing. He calls it catching.
As you surface and you probably shake off a little bit of the water that you've accumulated, you hear a familiar, if unwelcome, voice. Still catching fish in the river, Creighton? This is a city watch guard that you're familiar with. What does the city guard look like?
You'd be kind of a gaunt-looking man with an overgrown mustache that's just not well groomed.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it's a mustache that's attempting to be well groomed, but it just doesn't grow right for the man's face.
Mm-hmm.
They're dressed in the uniform, a little sloppily, but for the most part, they're put together like they're supposed to.
You you could probably afford a meal if you like took up a decent living. Like not. Well, I'm dipping into the wrong voice there. Uh, you know you. Um. Hey, you could take up decent living like the city guard maybe, instead of this bounty hunting stuff.
Why would I want to be a god?
Like pay every day, stable job, not having to hunt in the river for food.
There's too many rules. And hunting is fun. It's one of the best things there is.
Yeah, no, I forgot how creepy you could be. Ah. Anyways, you got a license for that fish?
What fish? He says as he swallows.
Sort of clicks your tongue and he moves on. And I imagine at this point, now that you've sort of said that it's perhaps time to head towards the guild, at the very least they'll probably have a job for you that will probably be a little higher class than what you've been going after. Brian, can you pronounce your character's name for me one more time?
Sure. It's pronounced Owen.
Owen. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. What does Owen's morning look like?
It doesn't vary much. He wakes up, goes through his normal grooming routine, will make himself a cup of tea and grab one of any number of books that he has in his apartment. And more or less, he'll spend his walk from his apartment to the guild house just with his nose in a book, idly sipping a tea as he walks, really not paying attention to anyone.
All right. As you're sort of sipping on your tea, there is a tap on your shoulder, a very light tap. And you look up and you see a familiar face, a friend of yours, one Lysandra Darkwood. Oh,
Good morning, Sandra.
good morning, Owen. What are you reading there?
Oh, this, nothing important. Just a book I picked up off the shelf.
It seems important enough to have your attention quite wrapped there. I was calling for you for about a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, obviously. It's, again, pulp.
Well, be that as may, what have you got planned for the day?
Oh, well, you know, it's job day. Time to go to work.
Work, yes. I am too, unfortunately, heading towards work. And you can see she's got like an armful of like scrolls and whatnot that are probably one like record or another. She works as a bureaucrat, so she's reading a lot of records and whatnot.
It's definitely less interesting than I see what you're carrying there.
Yes, these are records of, they're the records of all the fishing boats operating out of the port and the type and number of fish they've caught for the last 20 years.
Riveting.
Exceptionally. What about, have you had any interesting things you've done at that guild of yours lately?
This and that. Nothing too gory, if that's what you're looking for.
I was hoping. Your stories always do make my monotonous days seem, well, I appreciate them a little bit more sometimes.
Well, when I do have something new to tell you, I will tell you.
Indeed. Well, I should probably be off. I've got a fishing report to compile.
We're gonna meet for lunch today.
Yes, that would be lovely. Provided nothing comes up at either of our jobs. Usual place?
Sounds good. Meet you at high noon. And
And,
he'll walk off,
yeah, and she
stick his
will,
nose back in his book.
yeah, and she'll walk off as well towards the other end of town. She heads, being a bureaucrat, she works up in the upper district, and you, being a, what was the title exactly that you gave yourself? Corpse
Examiner.
Corpse Examiner. Yes, Corpse Examiner at the Night Watch Guild. You work down in the river quarter. Rue, what does your morning look like?
Oh, my morning is always the same. I always wake up early. I don't sleep very much. And especially because my old job, I used to have erratic hours. So I was used to doing various different shifts. But I always wake up early and I always make breakfast. And I like to cook. I cook quite often, as much as I can. And I am probably making some eggs, taking out the bread from yesterday, and I am trying to ignore my mother as she is telling me to get a real job.
I believe. Rue, darling, I've told you so many times. Quit your job at that strange guild of yours. I don't even know what they do, to be quite honest, and come be a mage. You've got a talent for it.
Of course, mother. All in due time.
You've been saying that for 10 years now?
How would you like your eggs done, mother?
Over easy, please.
I am going to purposely ruin them for my mom.
Your father comes down, or comes into the kitchen at this point, and will give you a kiss on the top of your head. I don't know if your father has any pet names for you, or...
So my real name is Runa, but Rue is a sort of nickname that I just call myself. So he'd probably just call me Runa.
Runa, you are ruining those eggs. I feel like I've taught you better than that.
Oh, yeah. Just flip them over. Oh, here you go, mother. Just kind of nonchalantly drop the plate in front of her. Kind of a little passive-aggressive, maybe.
She will look at you and... You've probably done this before.
Yes.
And she will just, tight-lipped eat them and just, like, as if nothing were wrong at this time. And she pretends that you haven't ruined these eggs. Just like she pretends that you two aren't, that you will eventually see the light and come be a mage in one of the mage's guilds that she works at.
Next year, mother. I promise. Again.
Yes, you said the same thing last year. Alright, well, I need to be off. I've got some enchanting to do today. Another house to ward and whatnot. I'll be back at some point tonight. Do try to have dinner ready, darling.
I will be making my roast tonight.
Try not to ruin this one as well.
Oh. I don't even look at her.
She sort of walks out wearing her mage robe that is I would say probably a mark of pride for her being accepted into sort of a mage guild, even if you aren't a high-ranking member. It still carries some level of prestige. And your father looks at you. Runa, do you have to antagonize her so much every morning?
There would be no other way I'd like to start my day, Father. I hope you have a good one. I've got to head off.
Yes, with the guild. Do be careful. You know, it worries me working with them. They don't even. They don't. They're not even officially part of the government. They don't have the same protections that other guilds do.
I think I will punch my dad's arm and be like, you know, I'm a tough girl. I've got this.
Yes, no, you've always been one to roll with all the punches. Have a good day, dear.
You too, Father. I'll give him a kiss on the cheek and then grab my stuff and head on towards work.
And I don't know if Rue hears this, but we see your father sitting in the kitchen. He's just shaking his head and he's like, they are way more alike than either of them will ever agree to. Vestan, what is your morning like?
Veston would come out of his trance and then do a little bit of a meditation and morning prayer and be in the temple, making sure that giving alms to the poor and also feeding. So, yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
imagining as he's feeding, if he's wearing gloves and if he gets any of the food or anything on his gloves, he just takes them off and hands them to whoever it is, like near like for winter, because winter is, it might be just a second of summer, but the great Ulysses always says to be prepared, and why not be prepared early? And then gives it, and then reaches into his pouch and takes out another pair of gloves and begins serving more food to the next person and the next.
Mm-hmm. And you continue to do so, and you are in a temple of Saint Cuthbert. I'm assuming, if this is the one that you're, that Arbane works at as well. It is a sort of a very pious temple. The Saint Cuthbert is very well known to represent forthrightness, and believes in always that evil is always evil, and that one should never be tempted by its sort of wiles. And as you're giving alms out, and you see some of the familiar faces that pop up here, One-Eyed Joe, Merry-Faced Miriam, and whatnot. Some of the familiar faces. Priest. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, greetings. How do you do? Good morrow.
Yes, doing well. How are you today, Vestan?
Doing very fair. Would you like some food?
That's the only reason I'm here, Vestan.
Oh, yes, quite right. He'll fix him a plate and then offer it to him.
And she'll, as you do, she'll like grab you by the hand suddenly, like towards the wrist. And she's pretty dirty looking. She doesn't look like she's had a good wash in maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and she looks at you. You should be careful of beets today.
Beets?
Beets. I hope there's none in this meal.
No, of course not. I have on good authority that the cooks did not include beets. But I will make sure to make a mental note in my diary, in my journal here. He takes out his little journal. Beets. Beware beets. And then, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And may I make a suggestion?
You certainly can. You may make one.
Uh, according to the great Ulysses, the hero that I've always looked up to, it's very important to bathe regularly, daily instead of weekly. So, and we do have baths somewhere around here. I'm sure Arbane could arrange it. That way you can be more healthy. It'll make
Oh,
things better.
oh, Vestin, when you've lived as long as I have, you've learned that fate can wash away very easily. Lady Istis is a fickle god.
I see what you mean.
Remember,
This is all
beware beats! She sort of walks
Yeah.
away, like off in her own world.
beats.
Yes. Oh, she's
Bad.
certainly a very interesting one. You hear from behind you a familiar voice. Arbane, as Priest Arbane walks up behind you. And he's wearing very he's very richly garbed in priestly garments, sort of the very thick vestments of his station that have sort of this gold trimming and pure white cloth as well, and sort of this big tall hat.
Vestin's in his vestments as well, but they're not as elaborate as Arbane's is.
And what does Arbane look like outside of his vest?
He's a very average-looking human. He's a little bit shorter than Vestin, and Vestin is about 5'10", 5'11".
Mhm.
So yeah, he does look like a kind, elderly man. So yeah, nothing really stands out for him. He's always been very kind to Vestin ever since he's arrived in town, and took him into the temple and pretty much given him a home.
I've tried getting these people to be more cleanly when they come into the holy temple of St. Cuthbert, but it just falls on deaf ears every year. It feels like they're increasing as well.
She did make a good point about faith be easily to wash off, though. I did like that that thought. That it was a very interesting thought.
No, pay no mind. To her, simply the ravings of a mad woman. Now, are you staying for, trying to remember my Catholic upbringing?
Mass?
Not alms, sorry, we're not alms. What's the morning service? It's like a name for morning service, but mass, essentially.
Mass? Okay.
Yeah, we'll call it mass.
I'm not Catholic, so I
Yeah. There's like a specific name for it that I can't remember because I haven't gone to mass in like 15 years.
I'm sure someone will it'll probably hit you after the session is over. Someone in chat, Matins?
Yes. That is it. Thank you, Riverell Mattins.
So yeah, I believe so, if possible. I'm sure no one's shown up yet or no about the stuff. So out of character, of course. So then Vestin would, if no one's like coming to get him quite yet.
Yeah, no, this is pretty early in the morning. This is probably before everyone else's scenes really took place. So you know that you can do matins and then make it to work before sort of like you know that there's like a time period every morning when assignments are given out and whatnot. And it's a very it's a very sort of over the top mass in the sense of everyone is trying to prove how pious they are by trying to sort of outdo each other in sort of the confession of sins and the cries of the righteous to bring down the evil ones, and especially Eus, the demigod, the evil demigod that caused the start of the Greyhawk Wars several years back. There are several paladins here who attend mass as well, matins in the morning, and they sort of all, before the priests, state their intent to go out and cleanse the land of the evils that beseech it.
Go with honor and light and the blessings of Cuthbert.
Yeah. Yes, I will go forth with your holy blessing.
He'll touch his forehead. Go and be proud.
So long as I have Saint Cuthbert at my side, nothing can bring me down.
Make sure that to bathe regularly, because cleanliness is next to divineliness. So there you go. With that, also he reaches into his pouch and brings out a little like a little wired brush and kind of just his wrist off where the lady had grabbed him. Kind of like, just nonchalantly kind of type of thing.
Mm-hmm. And matins will come to an end, and I think you're probably in the sort of a side room with Arbane as he takes off his ceremonial vestments to put on his sort of daily vestments, which are just as easily like rich and gaudy as his other ones, and perhaps even more so, given that they're not specifically holy vestments. Well, you should perhaps be off as our representative in the Night Watch, as required by the city bureaucracy.
Quite right, quite right. I will, he changes into his more common clothing, which are not very, very humble, dark colors and all that, kind of says sorcerer, but, they're just humble type of thing. But yes, I will make St. Ulysses proud and go about the business. I bid you good day, and I'll see you later on tonight. Hopefully it'll be a quiet day or night, and I'll be back.
Remember to live in the light and burn the darkness.
Of course.
Vestin. He will, sort of return, a less, like, because of your stations, his bow is slightly less deep than yours. And you head off.
Okay.
You all arrive at the Night Watch Guild House, sort of around the same time, maybe within 5 or 10 minutes of each other. The Guild House is located in the River Quarter, sort of on the eastern side of Mid-District, on a street called Reef Alley. The Guild House is an amalgamation of buildings that had most likely been separate once, but had their walls knocked down and combined into one larger office building without any actual extra work done to try to make the outsides look unified. There is of course your receptionist at the front, a little gnome lady, sort of hair done up in a bun, sort of these horned rim glasses, that'll greet you all as you walk in. And she'll tell you, looks like there's gonna be some jobs today. The captain, well, he never looks happy. So, take that how you will. And she'll sort of direct you towards the briefing room. Where you all sort of see each other. You've worked together before. You don't always work together when assignments are given out, but you're familiar with each other. There are about 6 other people in this room. 3 of them you're very well known. They are the A team, so to speak, of the guild. Hadar, Hadar Benar, a human fighter, veteran, grizzled, salt and pepper hair, laughs too loud, drinks a lot, always has a story, and always has advice for you about how to best beat something that you've come up against. There is this silver dragonborn, young, maybe in her 20s, but she's a prodigious sorcerer. Goes by the name V because it's really difficult to pronounce her name otherwise. Got like 13 syllables. And a half-elf cleric of Elenestra, which Vestin, you would know, is the elven name for Alona, sort of a nature goddess. And she's somewhere in her mid 300s or so. So well experienced, but not old by elf standards yet. And then there's a trio of these big brawny boys in the back. Gibson, Zelvin, and Zithra. And they're kind of just shooting the shit in the back there. They mess up more often than they succeed. You don't know how they're still employed here. They must have something on the captain, maybe. But yeah, the captain walks in after maybe about 15 minutes. Gruff, dwarven, scarred, weathered skin. He's got sort of a long slash across one eye. All right, you bunch of lazy layabouts. It's now time to earn your bread. We've got a couple of jobs today, and yeah, it's a real shit show today as usual in the city. Hadar, V, Bree. Some idiot ripped open a portal to the abyss in Clarksburg, and the guards need help hunting down the yokels that escaped. Usual, easy. And they sort of all nod and agree this is easy game for them. A little bit more difficult maybe for everyone else. Rue, Vess, Owen, Creighton. There's been reports of screams at night in the foreign quarter near Cairn Court. Investigate, make sure. I'm pretty sure that, it's the locals just overreacting to someone having too much of a good time, but the god didn't want to handle this one, so they passed it off to us. Means you get paid. Go check it out. Rue, you're taking the lead on this one. Gibson, Burr, as he says that. Okay, Gibson, where's Burr? I don't know. The captain walks out, stomps out for a moment, comes back like 5 minutes later. You can hear him stomping as he's dragging this halfling in one, by one arm, and tosses him into a chair. Burr, glad you could join us. Yeah. I was just you know, I had a late night last night working on a lead. You don't have any jobs right now, Burr. Don't give me your bullshit. Anyways, Gibson, Burr, Zell, and Zit. There's some methods running amok in the sewer system. They all groan. Ugh. Not sewer duty again. Look, last week, you chased a fire elemental into a fireworks shop that left an entire street on fire. You're lucky your asses aren't on fire. Be glad it's just sewer duty. Shia is going to meet you in the sewers. Hopefully, she can keep you four idiots from blowing up the entire city. Of course, go and talk to Quartermaster Phoenix River. He will get you sorted out with any of your gear that you may need. Dismissed. And he'll stomp out and head over to his office. Leaving, the other three leave sort of immediately. Before idiots are kind of bickering in the back. Leaving, you four to sort of, figure out what your plan is.
So, Rue, was it you're taking points?
Is that what you heard too? I wasn't sure. Do you think they got that wrong?
Congratulations upon taking point.
Oh no. And I turned beet red. I definitely look very young. I look like I'm probably very inexperienced with this sort of thing. Do you think they messed up the paperwork?
I mean, the captain did leave without correcting himself.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, the best way to learn is to fail, so just get it over with if that's what you think.
And as Ulysses always said, fell forward is the best thing to do.
Well, I suppose we can't do as badly as a fire elemental into a fireworks shop.
How much do you think they're going to screw up today?
I just hope it's in a different district.
I just hopefully the sewers are the same when they leave.
Well, I suppose we could head off to the foreign quarter. Are any of you familiar with it?
If anyone would like to, you can roll me history checks.
Sure, why not? What's the worst that could happen?
If you
Instead
live
of
in the
that-
foreign quarter, you could do it with advantage. Oof. I get the feeling Creighton probably doesn't spend much time in the inner city if he can avoid it.
Nah.
Where is that at again? I'm sorry, I'm used to using the other.
So it's going to be if you go to the left side where all the skills are, it'll start with like acrobatics and athletics, and then if you head down, it'll be about midway down.
Okay, then I just click it.
Just
Yeah.
hit history.
Okay.
All right. So, Owen, Rue, Bustin, you all know that the foreign district is not too far from here. It's actually the next district over, before you sort of hit central mid district, and it's sort of divided from the river quarter by what's known as Horseshoe Road, which is sort of the big, broad main thoroughfare in the area. It is, as sort of the foreign quarter sort of implies, it is where most of the non-locals congregate for the most part, who aren't quite ambassadors or diplomats or wealthy merchants. It is situated sort of along a very nice large park known as High Lane Park. And yeah, it can be a strange area depending on where you're from and what you may consider traditionally normal. You get people from all over with many very different traditions and whatnot. So they have sort of, as often is with cities, sort of created different neighborhoods depending on where they're from. But yeah, that's about what you know. And you would obviously know where Cairn Court is. You are familiar with sort of the landscape of the city, the streetscape of the city. It's a large sort of public square that is heavily cobbled, and it's known for this cairn fountain that sits at the center of it. Kind of ominous, because cairns are usually, they're either used to mark pathways or to mark like might be where someone's buried, right? So it's kind of a weird thing to have instead of like a statue, but who knows? The foreign quarter. Would you all like to stop at the quartermaster first?
It's probably a good idea.
All right. The quartermaster, Tren Phoenix River, is a gnome. He's a bit of an alchemist. He is a bit of a tinkerer as well. He's always got the look that like he just blew himself up a little bit. Sort of got the soot and the singed mustache. You've never seen him with eyebrows, so you're not sure if he has them. And as you walk up, he's just, all right, what can I do you for? What do you need old Phoenix River for? What you fighting?
Well, as far as we know, nothing.
Oh, nothing's a dangerous thing to fight.
Might just be some reconnaissance for now.
Okay, reconnaissance. I'm assuming you've all got your standard gear, standard packs.
Yes. Vested will have on his circlet, and then his staff. So yeah.
All right. What about 1,000 ball bearings? Any of you need 1,000 ball bearings? I've got a weird surplus of those.
I want to make a rogue joke.
I'll take a small bag of those. Yeah, right? That seems like a good idea.
Yeah. No, one bag of ball bearings coming up. Real useful, those. Also, they make a mess. And he'll hand you a bag that clinks with the ball bearings, sort of these little iron balls. All right,
It's a
and
really good time.
sorry, what was that? Sorry, I didn't hear. I couldn't hear you, V, on that one.
Oh, I see.
You were a little
But a
faint.
rolling good time if used properly. Hopefully I didn't cut out again.
No,
No.
you're good. No.
Okay.
I was sorry. Were you? And then, sorry, Sela. You're saying?
I look very nervous when I take this bag of ball bearings, and I double knot the string on it to make sure it won't burst open and fly everywhere, and I put it in my backpack.
Yeah, make sure to keep a good hold on those. The captain rolled his ankle the other day when some idiot spilled theirs all over the guild floor. He was not happy. I mean,
Was that-
he's never happy, but like he was extra not happy.
Was it one of the
I-
knuckleheads?
Probably, although I don't think I gave them any. So unless they stole it, like I would never give them anything that they could hurt themselves with.
So you don't give them anything.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
That explains. I guess that explains the fire elemental in the fireworks shop.
God, that was a mess. It took them 3 days to put that fire out. Yeah.
I could see it from my apartment.
Yeah. We're lucky. We're lucky. It only took out like 3 houses. Could have been worse. Anyways, I should probably give you your standard issue potions. You know, just in case, even if it is reconnaissance. As I always say, safety and preparedness, right?
Quite right.
Dad.
And he'll hand all of you a potion of healing. So you each can write down that you have a potion of healing, which I believe is 1d4 plus 2 when you use it. All right. Well, until you know what you need to fight, that's all I got for you. Don't be strangers. Don't die.
Thank you so much, Quartermaster. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm just doing my job, trying to lower our turnover rate here. Captain's been real hard about that lately. This place used to be full, you know?
I would know nothing about that.
All right, so you have your potions, and are you heading straight towards the foreign district, or are any of you doing something beforehand?
You say we go.
So what's the plan, Rue?
Right, team. We're going to go to the foreign quarter. We're going to check out Cairn Court and I guess talk to some foreigners that live there. I think that's probably the best idea, right? What do you think, Vestin?
I
Right?
think that's a very novel idea. I think it. Yes.
Okay, that's what we'll do.
All
And
right.
you're doing a good job so far.
Do you know what you're using those ball bearings for?
And you see me like pat from my backpack. Oh, okay. Just making sure they're there. Hopefully I don't have to use them. I don't know.
Is Rue reassured by Vestin's attempts to compliment you?
Oh, a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Vestin would ask her as well. Would you like blessings of Saint Cuthbert to help with the anxiety? I mean, I know it's your first lead. But would you like the blessings?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Please.
Blessings of Cuthbert upon you, and then touches her forehead.
Oh,
Oh, hey. No.
thank you.
The boop.
There was smaller footprints.
Oh, thank you.
I don't remember if it was one of you guys, but it was from...
I just kind of look unsure of what to do next. Oh, right. We should probably get going, I guess.
Quite right.
Oh,
All
it's-
right.
Oh, it's that door. That's the exit. Yeah.
You all head out, and you start making your way towards the foreign quarter, and Cairn. Wow, I just blanked on the name. Cairn. Why am I blanking so hard on the name? Cairn Court. I keep wanting to say Cairn Center, and it is sort of as you. There is sort of the main thoroughfare of Horseshoe Road, and you can see and hear carts moving up and down along there. There are quite a few shops that operate out of the foreign quarter, mostly exotics, goods, and whatnot, and services that can only really be rendered by tradesmen with the proper skill set, which aren't traditional to Greyhawk itself. And there's kind of a it's almost kind of like stepping into a different city as you enter the Foreigner's Quarter. There is a lot more color here. There are overhangs and streamers here that are vibrant oranges and reds and purples and greens and blues. A lot more so than the rest of the city. And some of you have been here before. And normally, there's also a lot of life here. You can always find street musicians here. Hawkers selling their wares sort of from like carpeted storefronts. And, you know, there's almost always a constant buzz of activity here. But today, it's very quiet. There's not a lot of people out on the streets, and there's a lot of doors closed. Those who are out and about are keeping their heads down and walking very quickly as if they only want to get to their destination.
Festin, is today a holiday?
Would I roll a religion check?
This would be... Yeah, most holidays have some sort of religious meaning, so you could do a religion check here, yeah. 13. So you know that there is at least no religious holiday. That being said, the people in the Foreign Quarter worship all sorts of gods that aren't part of sort of the pantheon of Greyhawk, the accepted pantheon of Greyhawk, the traditional. There's obviously no law against worshiping your gods, but they're not because they're not you won't find temples to these gods in the temple district of the high quarters, upper district.
Veston will relate some of this, but he'll say, since this is a hodgepodge of just different cultures, it's like they're on their own, but it's not the official Greyhawk pantheon. So it could be. I don't know. It'd be fascinating though to learn what's going on, and if there is one. So yes.
Can I do an insight check on the people running about?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
It's 11.
11. You would think that if there were some sort of holiday or some sort of festival going, like something that would cause people to stay home, that the people would look less grim. These people look grim. They look like they just want to get to their destination and they want to spend as little time on the streets as possible.
I smell fear in the air. They do not want to be out longer than they must.
It's almost as if somebody died.
As soon as you say that, you see Rue's hand just kind of instinctively go to rest on her hip where she has her short sword. She kind of looks around. She seems to almost like get a little more stoic, a little more as if she's kind of tapping into her guardly instinct, and she's just looking around right now.
Okay. Make me a perception check. Also, just for my own reference, what is everyone's passive perceptions as well? Let's start with Creighton.
14.
14. Owen?
10.
10. Stella? I'm sorry. Rue?
16?
And Vestin.
It is passive wisdom perception.
Yes.
12.
Oh, okay. All right. Make me a perception check, Rue, please. Oh. So I think the nerves are probably getting to you a little bit. This is probably the first time that you've been given lead on a team, and probably a lot of pressure on you right now to perform. And yeah, what does that look like with Rue?
So Rue's hand goes like to her sword belt, and she's just kind of looking around, and her dagger like falls out of its little sheath on her hip. She's like, "Oh crap!" And she just kind of bends over and picks it up.
You okay there?
I'm like red in the face. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm fine. We have to look for clues. I think.
Yes. Do we know what house we need?
So you weren't given a exact location. This is just you were given sort of there are several people from this place from this area have complained to the city guard of screams in the night, and the guard looked into it. You know, they weren't really sure, but figured they'd pass it off to the night watch just to be sure. So, they weren't given any specific locations, and the guard didn't seem to have taken note of who they spoke to.
Would you like me to ask around, Rue?
Yes, that's a good idea. We should ask.
So, Creighton is going to look for the closest person to him and just walk up to them and say, "You, tell me about the screams at night."
Are you trying to intimidate them or persuade them?
Either works. I mean, I'm not trying to intimidate unless they don't answer me.
Okay, so it is because I'm just imagining your large snake boy and the way you said that, and it's just like, you find, then give me a, I think this comes off as very intimidating, so give me an intimidation check, but you can use your strength for this one. Because you are very large, and you are very scary looking.
Okay.
When you say...
So this intimidation, well, it's +1 with strength, but so it's 24.
Nice. They, there's like this, like, there's this sort of, tabaxi, grandma that's shuffling by, sort of heavily clothed in, like, these long, flowy garments. Oh, oh my, sorry, could you repeat that?
The screams. Tell me about the screams.
The screams. Yes, I did not have the instinct to scream when I saw you. No. Screams. At, there's
Owen-
been
Owen will come
some.
up behind them and say, "Calm down. We're trying to find it. We heard there had been screams in the night."
Oh, don't sneak up on me like that. I'm not as spry as I once was. Oh my.
My mistake. I'll be louder next time.
I'm sorry, who are you?
He looks at Rue.
Yes. I am Runa Waymark. I am part of the Night Brigade, and these are my colleagues, Veston, Owen, and Creighton.
Ah, the Night Brigade. So I'm going to guess that those useless louts of the city guard passed it on to you, huh?
They are quite useless, yes.
They didn't take anyone seriously. They just showed up, they looked around for about an hour, and they left. Rather poor professionalism from them. Back in my city, the guard cared way more for you.
Who did they talk to?
Well, they talked to some of the people who live around Cairn Court. There's this old Nan who lives over there. He He runs a cobbler shop, and they talked to him. They talked to Daffy. She runs a bakery over there. And they talked to old Cesar. He just kind of sits on the street and doesn't do anything because he's old. Not like me. I'm still young.
Quite so, quite so. May we have your name, madam?
My name
Yes.
is... Hold on. I remember my name. There, on the tip of my tongue.
Take your time. Take your time.
Chandriana.
That's a lovely name.
Yes, it's quite beautiful. It means desert flower in my tongue. Was there anything else you needed?
Yes, you still haven't said anything about the screams.
Oh, the screams. Yes, the screams. Oh, there's been some screaming at night. It's been rather unsettling. Shrieks.
Did it come from anywhere in particular? Or was it just pervasive?
Somewhere in near Cairn Court. I live about a block off, but I could hear them. I don't know what direction I was in, because I was most certainly not going outside. If you're smart, you wouldn't go outside either.
I would like to insight check this woman.
Okay. You can insight check this woman.
I want to know if she's lying or not.
Crane's like, but we're already outside.
17. She looks like she's a sensible old woman who would not go outside if she heard screaming outside.
Very, very smart.
Yes, it's how I've lived. So long. Still very young in my young, you know.
You're a woman of experience. Yes, quite right.
Miss Chandriana, how long have the screams been going on?
Well, about 4 or 5 nights now. We thought no one was gonna come out after the guard left. Been bad for business.
4 or 5 nights.
Do they happen
Yes.
around the same time?
I'm not sure. It's rather difficult to tell in the middle of the night, but they tend to happen only at night, as far as we're aware. But that has most of the folks spooked around here. Screaming and shrieks are never a good thing, especially at night.
Well, you've been most helpful. And we should probably, and he kind of gives everybody a let's do this look, go check out Cairn Court.
Yes, go check it out. I bet you that it's cultists. We've got a cult here.
Oh?
I mean, what else would screaming in the middle of the night be? They're practicing some heathen ritual.
We
Yes.
should definitely get to the bottom of it, madam.
Indeed.
But I suggest that you maybe perhaps take a nap. So,
Why would I take a nap? It's the middle of the day.
Don't old people take naps in the middle of the day?
I'm not old. I'm quite young.
Just in case it's streaming tonight, but it doesn't interrupt your rest.
Oh, I mean, I hear the screaming, I wake up, I turn back over, I'm out in like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to hear that it doesn't interrupt your sleep and keep you up at night.
Well, it wakes me up, which is unpleasant, but I'd rather not have the screaming. Me being able to get my beauty sleep at night isn't a reason for you not to do your jobs.
A full night's rest is important. Yes.
His is a good meal.
Yes, yes. Have you all eaten? Oh, you're looking a little bit peckish there. Oh, Owen, did you say your name was?
Yes, ma'am.
You're looking a little bit peaky there. Are you eating all right?
I am
Holy missing the
eating
rest of this.
adequately.
Oh, well, that's adequately not enough. You should come by my house. I'll feed you right. Get more meat on those bones. In fact, if you all manage to get rid of the screaming, you can all come over.
Food is a good incentive.
A kind offer.
Yes, I am known for my fish stew.
Fish, you say?
Yes, fish. Quite the delicacy, I've been told.
Does it have pumpkin in it?
No? Fish and pumpkin feel like a rather strange combination.
Where do you live?
Oh, I live just off a side street off of Cairn Court on the Street of Song. Well, usually you could hear the singing during the day, but not today. She starts to totter off as she...
Have a good day.
Yes, have a good day. Oh,
What a
very
strange
young,
woman.
yes.
Rue, I have a question. It's like not really related to the investigation, but pumpkin and stew?
Oh, I don't like pumpkin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I understand. I thought you were suggesting the ingredient. I was about to say, what does that do for it?
I just kind of turned beet red again. Well, what you really want is some, and then like I start to talk about food, and I definitely give the sense that I cook a lot, and I give recommendations of spices and various fruits and vegetables that pair really well with what kind of fish you want to do.
Veston will take his notebook out of his pouch and start taking notes of what you're saying. Too.
But never pumpkin. Don't put pumpkin in anything. No.
I've had this wonderful pie made from pumpkin. Very tasty.
No. I'm okay. More for you.
All this talk of food making me hungry. And Creighton's just gonna walk into the closest restaurant, bakery, whatever.
So
Wanders off.
Crane just wanders off. So, most places sort of along here seem shuttered at the moment. Any sort of food restaurant-y type place, any sort of bakery along sort of the road leading up to Cairn Court are shuttered, and when you knock, there's no reply.
It's a very strange town. They're not open at reasonable hours.
Well, I mean, there have been screams and things during the day. Maybe people were, or at night, excuse me, maybe people are just, scared. And you are fairly intimidating.
No, I'm not.
And you have a dry wit.
What?
It has to be a pretty bad thing that's going on here. Look, it's a beautiful sunny day and it's been raining a lot recently. So I think a lot of these businesses have been hurting if they're not open on a day like this.
Well,
Oh.
I'm trying to give them money. So they should open now.
if you're hungry, here, and I'll take a very neatly folded package out of my pack. I'll hold it out to Creighton. This was gonna be my lunch, but if you're hungry, you can have this now.
Okay. Eat it. Is this the pumpkin you talk about?
Oh, trust me, there's no pumpkin in that. No pumpkin in my house.
What did I just eat?
Did you just eat it without looking at it? It's a type of bread. It's probably day-old bread with little bits of dried fruit in it. Be very filling and mostly bland with a slight sweet kick to it.
Yes. Well, thank you for the reasonable food, I guess. It's not fish, but it'll do.
I imagine you continue heading towards Cairn Court, and as you reach this court, it's a very nice court. It's a little rough around the edges in terms of it's not like a perfectly, it's not like a perfectly planned out court. There are buildings that sort of jut out from one side or another. There's no sort of rhyme or reason to the direction that the roads enter this court into. But there's something charming about it, despite sort of this large looming cairn obelisk sort of in the center there, with a sort of a fountain coming out of it. There are, again, these colored streamers that go from the eaves of the houses around it to this fountain, actually. And there is no one in this court, which is strange. You would think it'd be busy this time of day. And then you take another look, and there's actually one person currently in this court. This old-looking, sitting in a chair, head nodding, weathered skin human man. Just sitting there.
Something tells me that maybe, what was his name? Zezza?
Sezza. S-E-Z-Z-A.
It's another old one. Should we talk to them, Rue?
Yes. Maybe, Owen, maybe you should start this conversation.
Sorry, juggling between chat and trying to unmute myself. If you insist, and he'll walk up to the human. Is there a stick or something nearby?
Sorry, there's a step?
No, a stick or something I can poke him with.
Make me a perception check.
Oh no.
9. There is a walking stick next to his chair.
Seeing that, Owen will reach out and grab it and work to flip it over so he can kind of...
Can you make me a dexterity check, please?
Sure. Picking all the stats, I have 0.
As you go to grab his stick, his hand shoots out, grabs his stick, and whacks you on the hand with it. You take 1 point of damage. What do you want? What do you want with my stick? Are you thief? You stick thief? Thief! Thief! We got a stick thief over here!
I'm not trying to steal your stick. I was trying to wake you.
When
I was never asleep.
When the old man yells stick thief, Creighton goes over and pushes you over. Don't steal.
I wasn't trying to steal. I was
Oh,
trying
you
to-
look like a city god type. This man here was trying to steal my stick.
I was not trying to steal it. I was looking for something to wake you up with. And don't tell me you weren't sleeping because you were snoring.
Acting.
What do you know about the screams that have been taking place at night? Yeah, just. Oh, it'll just move on to the next.
I don't know anything about screaming. Stick thief.
Turning back to the rest of the group, Owen will just shrug and go, I can't ask him any more questions.
Quite right, stick thief. I think you've done pretty well, though.
So he is a stick thief. Hmm.
I will do my best to stand at least 10 feet away from wherever the stick is.
That was yeah. Thank you.
So, what do you all want? Besides my stick, which is mine.
It
Not
is a
yours.
lovely. It
Mine.
is a very lovely stick, sir. But we're here about the streams. We're from
It's
the.
a great stick. It saw me through the Greyhawk Wars.
Oh.
I fought off Hughes himself with it.
I see. It's a very wondrous thing then.
Yes.
It's no wonder the stick thief was wanting it. But we're here. We are from the Night Brigade. Is it Night Brigade? or is
Night
it
Brigade. Sorry, I was saying Night Watch earlier. Confused. Like I got getting City Watch and Night Brigade mixed up. Night Brigade.
We're from the Night Brigade, and we're here about the streams. And we hate to disturb you, but we really would like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind.
Make me a persuasion check.
Sure.
14.
Uh,
Night Brigade, you say? That's that strange guild up in the river quarter, yeah?
Indeed, sir. You know of it.
I heard of it.
Yeah, that's coordinated.
Ah! Ah! Acting.
Ah,
What were we
Wonders.
talking about again?
the streams and us being a part of the Night Brigade.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, the screams, yeah. There've been screams at night. I think we got werewolves.
Werewolves.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Yep. I remember the werewolf infestation of 71.
I didn't.
Terrifying.
Owls.
How bad was it?
Well, you seen any wolves in this city?
No. I'm
That's how
guessing-
bad.
Oh.
Wiped them all out.
Did you do it with this your wondrous stick by chance?
Of course not. I had a sword back then.
Oh.
Silvered.
I see,
Good
I
for things that go bump in the night.
Let's see. We will definitely make a mental note of that to our quartermaster. But yes, we'll let you get back to your acting. We thank you for your time.
Hmm.
Rue, do you want to ask the gentleman any other questions?
Yes. Silver sword. Really? Where did you get something like that? Where do we have those at the guild house? I definitely seem like I'm taking this very seriously.
Yeah, I had a silver sword back in the day. My kid ran off with it a couple years back. But yeah, no, I mean, I got blacksmith to make it. Costs a little gold, but you know, nothing better for sticking creeps out there.
If you put a bounty on your kid's head, I can find him for you.
Why would I put a bounty on my kid's head?
To retrieve the sword, of course.
Do I look like I'm weaving around a sword these days?
You carry a stick.
I carry a stick, it weighs like 10 pounds lighter.
That's true.
I wouldn't know.
Anyways. My kid ran off, and man, this neighborhood has changed in the last couple of years.
So you mentioned screams.
Yeah, screams at night.
Do you know where
Oh.
they're coming from?
All right.
Oh, they're coming from everywhere.
Alternative
Telling you, it's another werewolf infestation. I'd fight them off myself, but I ain't no spring chicken anymore.
If you had to guess where those werewolves would be, where would they be?
Well, no one's seen anyone from that house in a couple days. As he points with his stick towards a large, it's sort of like a corner house, not a corner house, sort of like a point house, where two roads sort of come in from the sides. Large, sort of almost brownstone-esque house. Sort of tall, almost a mansion. There appears to be a small yard, fenced yard, around its back, and just looks like a house that's in seemingly good repair at the moment. That one's always been strange. Moved in here about 3 years ago. You know, when all those people were coming here, all the refugees from the wars and all that. Set up a business. I think she called herself Jandra, Janine, Jezebel, something like that. And real pale woman. Bit of a looker, you know. Back in my day, I was quite a looker myself.
Do you know what she does? What, you said a business? What kind of business?
I don't know. Carts come in, carts come out. Sometimes they have goods, sometimes they don't. I don't know. I don't think I remember.
Out of character, I wonder if anyone in the group has any money. Because I don't think I have that much.
Yeah, I think you all have your base gold right now.
Rue would definitely have seemed like, from just like us like having lunch and stuff, to have some money on her at all times. She
Alright.
doesn't seem to be a penny pincher. She definitely has she splurges on food. For sure.
All right. So you have money.
I think he might be. I'm whispering this quietly. He may be a little more forthcoming if, we slid him some coin.
Booga!
All right. And you see me rummaging around, and I take out a gold coin.
Hold on.
Oh.
If you want to make someone talk, I can make people talk.
Rue, can you make me a dexterity check, please?
Yes, I can. Just a regular or
Yeah,
saving
just a
throw?
straight up dexterity check.
Okay.
His hand kind of very quickly and a lot faster than you would think he could move, like snaps out to try and grab it, but you manage to pull it back just before he.
His acting is just so masterful. Oh, sir, I have an idea. If you would kindly take it up when you're done with your acting.
So shall I make him?
What?
Oh, if you put some silver tips on your walking stick, then if there is a werewolf infestation, then you can fight them off better.
That's what you're here for, isn't it?
Well, just in case that you feel a certain spring to action to relive the glory.
So
days.
you're telling me sorry. You're telling me that you want an old man to go out there and fight some werewolves, and I'm pretty sure you're getting paid to do this. Kids these days, they got no work ethic. No sense of money or value.
Well, if you excuse me, I will go see about the stick thief. So good day to you. And he'll turn and look at Owen and kind of wink at him to kind of go around.
Owen will put up his hands and just
Come along, sir, you vile villain.
Yeah, put him in put him in the brig. That's what we would have done back in the day. Isolation. 3 weeks. Steal my stick.
That's a shame. I just met him.
So, what do you two want?
Rue looks kind of pissed, especially after the remark of no work ethic. She takes this personally. She just kind of puffs out her lip and she just turns and just marches after the two of them leaving.
Drayton, you left here with this old man.
Do you know about the screams at the house?
You know, my hearing's not as good as it once was.
So that's a yes.
I never said that.
Tell me what you know.
Are you intimidating?
Sure, let's go with that.
Okay. Can you give me an intimidation check? You just like, are you? And
Oh,
you'll have advantage for this, so we'll take the 20. Don't worry. Look, I don't know nothing. If anyone asks, it was definitely drugs.
drugs. Yes.
You know, back in my day, the city
How-
guard would have had that cleaned up by now. No drugs on my street.
I don't understand how the drugs are screaming.
Not the screams. Whatever Jezebel was doing in that house. Whatever her name was.
Oh. Illicit activities. I think that's the word for it.
Yeah, real, strong herbal smell coming from those carts. My ears may not be very good these days, but my nose, I can smell a pumpkin pie from a mile away.
Well, thank you, sir. Did you say it was customary to give money for tips?
Yeah, for, yes.
Here you go then. Give my gold.
He quickly pockets it quickly disappears like into like a pocket, like like a flash. Like, again, he moves a little bit quicker than you would think he would. Yep. Well, I didn't see anything off with you.
Yes, thank you for the information.
I saw nothing. He sort of yells loudly to the square. And then he goes,
Then I'd go back to the group and be like, Rue, the drugs are making people scream.
The werewolf drugs?
Possibly. Yes, the werewolf drugs are making people scream.
Oh. And, they're coming from the house?
I believe so. So Jezebel is selling werewolf drugs that make people scream.
the fact that you say it with a dead, straight face is what's killing us. I love it.
That sounds illegal. We should check out the house.
If it's illegal, let me know someone that can tell me about it. Would I be able to use my ear to the ground to see if I have a contact about this thing?
Is that your
So-
background thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, can you read it to me real quick just to remind me what it does?
Sure. In frequent contact with people in segments of society that your chosen queries move through. These people might be associated with the criminal underworld, rough and tumble folks of the streets, or members of high society. This connection comes in the form of a contact in a city you visit, person who provides information about the people and places of the local area.
You roll me a... Let me look. Roll me a... There really needs to be like a streetwise or like a contact. Something with wisdom, I think, here.
You can just do a straight wisdom roll.
Yeah, give me a straight wisdom roll. Oh. You might know someone. You don't know anyone off the top of your head, but you could certainly try asking around the docks for drugs.
There's always drugs on the docks. We can always ask around there.
Let's put a pin in that and check out this house that the crazy old coot pointed at.
It's not far from you. It's maybe about 50 or 60 feet away from the center of the square.
Okay, I'll walk up to the front door, or as
All
close
right.
as I can get.
Okay?
Veston would follow and kind of look over at Brew. Team leader, what do you think?
Yes. Purely from a logical point of view, the house is closer, so we should we'll check that house out.
And see if the wondrous walking stick man have anything true or not.
Do we know if the docks are nearby?
Creighton definitely knows where. So there are two sets of docks in Greyhawk. There is the lower wharf and the upper wharf. The lower wharf serves the majority of the city. It is a little bit south. There's a gate you can exit out through the river quarter and then follow the river road down to the lower wharf. That's where the majority of the docks are. However, there are also the there's also the upper wharf, which is that primarily serves the large merchant houses and sort of the nobility. That is well guarded and much harder to get into. You need like a pass to get through there. You need to have like some reason to be there.
Well, we did get a few leads from Chandriana, the cobbler shop, the bakery. And I'm guessing this house. I kind of gestured to the one that we're approaching. Let's see if anybody's home, I guess.
Should we knock on the front door?
That is usually customary and polite.
Why don't one of you go around the fence? Don't go over the fence. That's trespassing. But just in case there's a back door.
Yes, I'll go to the back. That is where they always run.
All right, Creighton, you walk around the side, and it is, it's got sort of this tall stone fence with these stone gargoyles on each post sort of overlooking, and you can't quite see over it into the back. You can see that there are a number of trees back here. There is a wrought, sort of a wrought iron gate, like half wrought iron, half sort of heavy wood, from the head downish, and you can see that that appears to be the only exit before it hits another row of buildings and the sort of the backyard ends.
Creighton's just gonna post up along the wall, not really looking into the doorway, just...
All right, who's knocking on the door?
Rue, would you like to, or should I?
Oh, I suppose I will. And I'm very good at knocking on doors like a city guard. Doom, doom, doom.
All right, do you do that?
Yes, I just use my fist.
Okay. You hit it once, and you go to hit it again, but your fist hits nothing as there's a... as the door slowly opens from the force of your first hit.
Is it
Seemingly
considered
unlocked.
Is it considered breaking and entering if the door opens for you when you knock?
And that's where we're going to take our break. We're going to take a real quick break. Everyone in chat as well, get up, stretch, move those legs, get some water, use the restroom, take care of yourselves. We will be right back in about 5-10 minutes. BRB. And we're back. I hope, chat, you had a good, quick break. Got yourself some stretching. Stretching is very, very important, especially when you sit for long periods during the day, like I do. So, you have just knocked on this mansion door, and it has eerily creaked open.
My eyes will immediately go to the door frame to see if there's been any damage on the lock.
Make me an investigation check, please.
Okay.
I'd like to look over her shoulder and see what I can see inside.
Shadowkai have dark vision, correct? Elves have dark vision.
Yes.
No. Alright. You look at the door and maybe, or maybe it was just open. Really just, you're not quite sure. I will, well, sorry, make that one more time. You're a rogue. You would know breaking and entering protocol. Sorry, so roll that one more time. You would have advantage on this. That's a lot better.
That's a
but
lot
yeah,
better.
You're a rogue. You would have advantage on breaking and entering. So you can easily tell that the lock has been jimmied. Most likely a decent enough lockpick was able to get through it. It's not the easiest lock, certainly, to get through. It is a decent tumbler bolt thing, locksmithing words, to open, but someone with a decent, like an okay amount of skill could get it open, which looks like it was, given that the door is still set to be locked from the inside. Owen, you make me a perception check. So the lost the camera here.
Sorry.
Yep, I'm gonna need you both I'm gonna need Wild and Ryan to turn off your cameras real quick. I've done that before. Hit the video. Ryan, hit your camera. And Wild. There we go. I've done that before. And it's not, you immediately notice a smell you're familiar with. Smells a little bit like shit and a little bit of piss and the smell of a recently deceased body. And then as your eyes sort of adjust to the darkness, and I think you see in mostly shades of gray in darkness, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I
You
do.
see a small collapsed form at the base of a set of grand stairs.
Well, this place definitely smells like death. And I think it's coming from that person in there.
Yeah.
This door, it's been manipulated. Someone has opened the lock. It's still locked within. And I'll kind of step into the house with my hand on my sword belt.
Vestin, do you follow in with them?
Yeah, Vestin would follow in with them.
All right. So Creighton, you just hear the and then nothing.
Also, out of character, would we split since Creighton's in the back? Is this out of character? Would we have split up type of thing? Why y'all take the front, two in the back, and two in front, or
Up to you.
Yeah,
You
I
could
think
have
that's
done
up.
that.
I think that's up to you, Vestin. If you would have liked to go with Creighton in the back.
yeah, I'll go with Creighton in the back. That way, kind of a little bit of retcon type of deal.
Yeah, that's fine. That's easy enough. So you would have gone with Creighton towards the back, and you would have seen the gate, and sort of the tall stone fence around it. And Rue and Owen, as you step in, Rue is human?
Half elf.
Half elf. Okay, so I can't remember. I can't remember if half elves have dark vision as well.
Yes.
They do. Okay. So you see this crumpled form at the base of the stairs as well, and then you both immediately also spot sort of this bulky burlap sack that has landed near this collapsed form, and spilling out of it are knives and like kitchen, like not kitchen knives, but like cutlery knives, right? And some spoons and forks, and there's a little bit of a glint off of them as the door opens to the bright sunshine outside, and a beam of sun sort of descends into this room. It's a large sort of foyer area. There's a sort of a grand staircase that leads up the left side wall here. There's a door immediately to your left that is closed. There's another door immediately to your right, and a little door further down along this past the stairs.
Okay. I'm going to walk up to the body and see if I can tell how it died.
All right. Make me a medicine check with advantage. You're very familiar with dead bodies.
Potentially.
So you are able to get, at the very least, I mean, the method, you are able to get the time of death. You know that this body has been dead for maybe about, probably somewhere in the range of like 10 to 12 hours, sometime late last night, given the amount of rigor mortis that's set in at this point. But what's strange is that the skin, you look at it, and there is, sort of as you turn it over, there is a sallowness to the skin. The cheeks are gaunt. The skin is almost papery, flaky, and their skin has gone absolutely like pale. Like not like almost like your shade of pale, like an unnormal shade of pale for a human, which this appears to be, sort of a short, balding human man. And it's definitely paled faster than a normal body. You can tell that for sure. But what they died from exactly, you don't know. There's no obvious wound. There's no blood.
I will relay that to Rue, and then is there anything about this that would strike me as arcane in any way? Or just
Give me an Arcana check. 20. You notice, sort of beneath the skin, blackened veins almost. And that screams to you, as a practicer of the necromantic arts, of necrotic death.
oh, this person certainly didn't die of natural causes. And Owen will spend the time, or I will spend a second just pointing out the various details you just relayed. See, the black veins under this person's skin. It's generally not caused by anything natural that I'm aware of. Usually some form of arcane. Pretend I use bigger words because I can't think of anything right now.
So, Rue, she's kind of looking around. Her hand is on her sword belt, and she's looking mostly towards doors and hallways and trying to see if there's any movement. And as Owen is explaining this, she's like, She's not even looking towards, and she's like, right, all right. And then if she doesn't see anything moving or hear any sounds, she kind of will move towards the front door and stick her head out and whistle very loudly.
All right, we'll head back to the other two, sort of in the back, in the maybe like the 4 or 5 minutes that this has happened. Crichton, Veston, what have you just been watching the gate back here?
I imagine Veston is keeping an eye on it and then just making small talk with Brighton. So, what do you think is going to be running out?
Probably a werewolf. I mean, that's what werewolves drugs do, right? Never seen a screaming werewolf, though.
Have you fought a werewolf before?
There's not a lot of bounties for werewolves. Usually that's taken care of by hunters. Like werewolf hunters, not bounty hunters. Pretty fun fight, probably.
Probably so, and I'm ready to assist you in that. So, it should be a fun time.
Do you fight a lot?
Oh no, not in those arts. Just in more of a supportive type of role. Magical means.
Oh, the magic stuffs, yeah.
Yes.
All right, there are you two. So you're just gonna. I was playing around with something. Sorry, was playing around with something. Ignore that. Imagine you didn't see behind the DM screen a little bit there. Playing around with stuff. Your characters don't know this. No metagame. Woo. Just trying some stuff out. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this house whatsoever. You two are just sitting in the. You two are just sitting in the back. There then, just watching the gate then.
Yeah, probably till we hear the whistle. I'm like,
All right. You then hear the whistle from the front.
but did you hear that?
I believe I heard the whistle.
I think that means they're in trouble.
After you? Would we go around to the front or?
Not if they're in trouble. He's Creighton's gonna charge through and break through the back door.
You take the whistle as a sign of danger?
I confirmed it with my partner, and they said it was possibly a sign of trouble.
That's fine, yeah, okay. Make me a athletics check against the door.
And I guess as he's running, Veston's like, not my first choice, but okay, and begins making his way.
14.
Okay. You put a good crack in the door, but it hasn't quite broken through. It's a thick wood door with like wrought iron hinges.
Yeah, he'd just keep trying till it broke down.
Okay, are you just trying to charge it, or are you gonna actually like attack it? Is the question here.
Just keep charging.
Just keep... Okay,
just building
Give
up
me-
that range.
give me another athletics check.
I wonder what's taking them so long.
Oh. So you rip the hinges right off this door as you charge through. You break through it because you did crack it before. And your charge is so strong that you run straight through it, and your head goes straight into like this big oak tree in the back as you're gonna take. Well, you're gonna take 3 points of bludgeoning damage as like you hit your head on this tree from charging straight through, and there's a solid thunk, and you can feel a little bit of blood trickling down your forehead.
Vestin will poke his head in afterward. Anyone home? And then
I think I got attacked by a tree.
Vestin, can you give me a perception check as you sort of peek through the garden door here?
sure. Oh, it's the garden door.
13.
13.
So you look around, and there is a small garden planted back here. Nice, neat rows of plants. There are a few weeds springing up, seemingly not having been weeded in the last couple days. There's sort of a nice lawn here as well with these large oak trees, and sort of a patio set beneath one. Off to one side, there is a greenhouse-looking building with these sort of large glass panes, and you can see more vegetation inside. And sort of along the back wall, there is a shed? Hovel, maybe? It looks pretty run down, sort of built up against the side of another sort of row of houses. There's this large brick wall that you know would be the start of the next set of houses.
Okay. Vestin would definitely be looking for the others, Fru and Owen,
Uh-huh.
because especially the whistle. But he'll make note of that, especially the shed, the hovel part, and also notice and take note about it hasn't been weeded lately, but it was a decent garden, so yeah.
You would also know that there's on the backside of this house there is sort of a door that you could do to get into the house, the mansion.
Yeah, Creighton, do you feel like opening another door? Forcefully, or... Hold on for just a moment. Vesta will try the door that way.
This door is locked.
Oh, well in that case, hey, Creighton, would you like to, open the door? It's locked.
Should I charge it again?
Sure.
All right.
Give me another athletics check, please.
Putting the breaking and entering.
I swear if I die from tree damage.
There's a tree inside this house. No, it's 13. This door is not nearly as sturdy as that garden gate door. It's sturdy enough, but you're able to charge through it and sort of splinter it. You don't quite take it off its hinges, but like you break through the center of it and you can like kick through the rest of it. Now that you've splintered it. The two of you up front, you hear this first more dull like crash from the back, and then you hear the sound of like rending wood much clearer, coming from behind the door to the side of the stairs, further down a hallway to the side of the stairs.
Rue immediately draws her sword. She's just kind of like moving towards the hall where this door might be.
All right.
And behind her, kind of with his hands up, because he doesn't know what else to do with his hands.
Yeah, Creighton and Vestin, you find yourselves in sort of a kitchen. Sort of a tiled floor. You can see preparation tables, a stove to one side, various, kitchen knives and kitchen utensils and pots and pans hanging from hooks sort of along the wall. Rue and Owen, you hear you hear the crash, and then you hear like the sounds of someone entering, like someone walking around in that back section. What do you do?
Just kind of like poke my head around the door frame into the kitchen.
So the door is shut between you and this.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's another door between you and whatever this noise is happening.
Rue will try to open it as quietly as she can.
All right, make me a stealth check.
Oh my gosh. This is awful, y'all.
It's gonna be really funny. Oh, oh my god. So this door, Creighton and Vestin, slowly starts to creak open in a very eerie, like, and I get the feeling that Rue is probably not like poking her head through. She's trying to stay like hidden behind the door. So this door seems to be opening of its own accord at the moment.
You know what I have to do. It's the werewolf. I'm going to go into a rage and target Rue with my lightning attack.
With your lightning breath?
Yeah, it's a storm aura when I go into a rage.
Oh, that's right. Okay, what's the distance on that?
Let's see. Oh, it's just 10 feet.
10 feet. I would say Rue's probably out of the range at that. It's a decent sized kitchen.
Okay.
It's maybe about 15 or 20 feet. Vestin, though. Are you right behind Creighton at this? Are you within 10 feet of Creighton at this point?
Yes.
All right, and I don't think you have the ability that gives them resistances yet.
I mean, this is I can choose it, so I don't have to choose it.
Okay, so you don't choose. Okay, so you don't choose Vestin. Okay, so I'll let you, Rue, Owen. You hear this sharp crack, like a lightning crack, like you've probably heard lightning, like, and followed by a short boom immediately afterwards, and you're with that stealth check, Rue. You are temporarily blinded by a flash of light. And Owen, you see this flash of light from behind this door as Rue opens it fully. And at this point, Owen, you can see sort of the large hulking form of Creighton as there's like this sort of you can smell like burnt ozone sort of around him as the lightning has sort of burnt the oxygen in the air around here. And there's sort of like this crackle seeming to emanate from Creighton. And he seems to have just let off some lightning.
Hello. What are you doing?
Oh, you're not a werewolf.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're not screaming either. That probably should have tipped me off.
Hello, friends. Vestinal, like, I guess I have overheard because he's behind it, was ready for like werewolves. So, hello.
What happened to the door?
We heard a whistle and thought you were in danger, so we broke through.
I appreciate the response, but I think the intent of that whistle was for you to come around the front.
Did we say that before?
No. I could see where the confusion was coming from.
Yeah, you should probably say that before next time.
Noted for future reference.
Yes.
If,
I
if,
think there's a lot of doors. It happens a lot.
At least the good intentions were there, but miscommunication, it happens. We'll just learn from it and move on. Did you?
Rue, your vision is still like flashing, like you've got that sort of like lightning streaked across your eye, like you just stared at the sun for too long. Just like
Rue just kind of like, she just crouches down. She's afraid to move around, so she's just crouching there, just a hand over her eyes. just hanging out there. She's like, "Oh, that wasn't good. That wasn't good. That hurt."
What's wrong with the little one?
I don't know. Something potentially lightning-like flashed. I didn't see much.
Oh, that happens sometimes when I get mad.
I feel like I should be writing these things down.
Yeah, I get mad a lot. You'll see it again.
Well, the reason for the whistle is we found a body in the foyer behind us.
A werewolf body?
No, well, we can't rule it out, but it's human right now.
Well, dead bodies don't scream either. Not usually.
Sure, we'll go with that. And then Owen will turn around and walk back toward the foyer.
Vestin will follow after.
And Rue, your vision is slowly starting to return, although there's a little bit of a ringing in your ear as well from the loud crack. As you... Go ahead.
Great, go ahead. I'll be there in just a minute. I'm just gonna sit here for a second.
Okay.
Carpet's very comfortable. There's a very plush carpet on the ground. Very well made. Very comfortable. As the rest of you enter the foyer here, and you see this collapsed body that has been turned over at this point, sort of shrunken, gaunt-looking features, and like just, you know, heavily gaunt. And the sack of cutlery that appears to have been spilled across the ground next to it at the base of the stairs.
Well, aside from this person being turned over, which I did, this room is exactly the way it was when we came in.
I don't know if werewolves usually steal silverware, though.
I'm not overly familiar with werewolves, so your guess is as good as mine.
Man, that wrecks it.
Did you just head upstairs then, or did you check out every rest of the downstairs?
We had not had a chance to explore the rest of the house before you came charging in the back door.
Alright, I'll look around then. Green's just gonna wander throughout the rest of the first floor.
Okay. So you from the foyer, from the front door that Rue and Owen came from, there is another door immediately to the right of the stairs. Sorry, not to the right of the stairs. Next to the stairs. The stairs are run along the left wall here, and a door sort of to the right of the stairs across this little miniature hallway, that are both closed.
Just gonna open doors.
All right, which door do you open first?
One to the right first.
One to the right. You open it up, and inside you can see sort of a combination living room, dining room, that has been absolutely turned over. There are candles scattered across the floor. Guessing there's like a hearth in a fireplace on one side where there are candles set all along it, but no candle holders. There is a table that has a nice vase full of wilting flowers, but there is no plate or cutlery ware, but there are napkins set around it, folded cloth napkins. There is, cupboards and blanking on the word for a china cabinet. Got it. There's a name for it. I think it starts with an H. Anyways, it's like a china cabinet essentially, style thing. A hutch. There we go. And these have all been opened, doors open, things like taken out, stuff that's been thrown on the floor. You know, stuff that doesn't really have like wooden objects and the like.
I don't see anything person, so I'm just gonna keep going from room to room.
All right, you go to the room to the left, and this is sort of like this is kind of like a sunroom, a sitting lounge. The far wall is mostly sort of this curved partitioned glass window sort of around with curtains that have been shut, drapes that are shut, and there's sort of like benches along sort of the inside of that, and there are several bookcases and an armchair in here.
No
there-
humanoids or people or
No humanoids or people. There are more candles laying on the ground. Look, there are several books that have been pulled out and just thrown to the ground.
just return to the group then. Like, oh, I don't see anything. Just a lot of candles and napkins and stuff.
What are the rest of you doing during this time?
Actually, I'm gonna look in the burlap sack.
Okay. It's easy enough to pull through. There's a lot of silverware. There's maybe about 16 knives, 16 spoons, and 15 forks. If any of you have, you know, a slight bit of OCD that may irk you. And there are several plates in here. There are 6. They seem to be made of nice porcelain, but many of them are shattered, seemingly from what is most likely a fall from above, from the stairs. There are also several candlesticks and candelabras in here. This bag was packed. A couple of them have snapped necks. The candlesticks that also seems to have happened from the fall, but some of them are still in good shape. They mostly seem to be made of silver.
Well, I don't know about you, but I think we found a thief. An unnaturally dead one.
Is this what we were supposed to find, Rue? Or
I don't know. Does this person look like they fell? I kind of look up towards the stairs. Is the body in a way like it's at the foot of the stairs? Or
Yeah,
maybe
so-
is there like a broken railing or anything?
So it's at the foot of the stairs. It does look like it probably fell down the stairs, but you would also associate it fall down the stairs with at least some form of blood splatter. Most likely, you would hit your head, you would scrape something, there would be blood, but there's no blood. You can see maybe. Well, make me another investigation check. But Owen, you know that this there was definitely necrotic magic used on this body. With a 13, you can see a few places where the body did hit the stairs on the way down. But again, no blood on those spots where it hit. You would think that falling down, and it's a good set of stairs. You would brain yourself pretty good falling down.
Rue is looking at the stairs as she says, Owen, you said something about unnatural.
Yes.
Yep.
This looks. The corpse looks like it's been subjected to some form of arcane necromancy. And he says that word reluctantly. From my experience, this person died horribly and unnaturally.
Probably died screaming.
It was probably a short scream.
All right.
Rue will slowly begin to head up the stairs. She's kind of looking down at the stairs to see if any of them are broken or anything.
And are the rest of you following?
Veston will kind of more cautiously than he entered the house.
Mhm.
So now he's kind of has his
Okay.
staff ready.
All right.
Oh, and he'll slowly make his way up the stairs.
All right. Is Creighton bringing up the rear?
Yep. Trainers bring up the rear.
As everyone sort of makes, I'm assuming everyone's being trying to be quiet here. Sounds like
Yeah.
mostly trying not to make more noise than is normal. Creighton, I don't know. It's up to you. If Creighton stomps, Creighton stomps.
I mean, Creighton slithers, so
Yeah. Wait, does Creighton have like a lower snake? Cause I don't think does he have a lower snake half or okay.
lower snake half an
Lower
arm.
snake half. Okay. All right. So I mean, you make a stealth check because I mean, you can like snakes move very quietly.
No, but their scales can make a lot of noise.
They can. That's up to you if you're making a lot of noise. Everyone else can make me stealth checks. As you do that, Rue, you can see where the wood of the stairs has been bruised by something hitting it. Like every couple of like 4 steps down, 5 steps down, 3 steps down. Where you're gonna guess the body hit it on its way down. Hey, Veston is like moving very, very quietly. The rest of you, you're like stepping on the center of the boards of the stairs, so Creek Central on the stairs. I think Rue, you're still got that ringing in your head, and like your vision's still coming back to you. As you make your way up the stairs, and there are definitely a few creaks and groans of the stairs on your way up. At the top of the stairs, there is a hallway that runs parallel, sort of, to the foyer and goes off the side. There is a door to the right at the end of this hallway. The right side of this hallway looks out over the foyer. There's a door at the end. There's a door on the wall in front of you, but to the right. And then 2 doors to your left. And Rue, with your perception check that we had earlier, you can see that one of them is slightly open out towards the hall to your left.
Rue will, as we're going up the stairs, especially because Veston's right behind her, she'll kind of like over her shoulder point down at the bruising on the stairs and say, "Look, this is where they fell." And then as soon as she gets to the top of the stairs, she will look to Veston and then kind of just like eyes to the door that's slightly open.
Veston will nod and kind of get ready just in case something happens. He will pause and take a look at where she pointed at, kind of nod again too. So, and then turn to the others and kind of motion for them. Kind of like a signal that they probably learned in the academy or whatever training program that they got. That's something up, that they would understand. Like
6-month crash course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do. And Owen, does Owen have a staff?
Yeah, I have a quarterstaff.
Yeah, your staff kind of clacks against one of the railings here. Crichton, you kind of like the stairs aren't the widest stairs. So like you kind of like bump into the wall as you slither to one side, and then you bump into the railing as you slither to the other side. But you all eventually get to the landing, and you follow Stella and Vestin towards the door. And you don't even have to roll for this because you can all immediately smell the stench of rot and decay coming from that door.
Should we go check that out, or?
Yeah, we probably should.
But
Be pleasant, but yes, I think we should.
Smells like another dead body. Let's go.
All right. You walk up to the door. Rue, do you open it?
Yes,
Ollie.
I'll try to peek inside.
You peek inside, and your vision at this point having returned to its dark vision state. At this point, like, those of you with dark vision can still sort of see. I think you all have dark vision? I think you all have dark vision. Wow, that's convenient. um, that's great. So you don't need light as you open this door, and just the stench wafts out and becomes strong, and it's not a good smell. Like, Owen, you can definitely, like, you don't even need to roll for this. You know that this is the stench of bodies that have been rotting for a couple of days. And especially given how hot the last day or two has been. Whew. That is one nasty concoction coming out of there. And Rue, you look in, and it appears to be a smallish study. Maybe about 15 feet deep, and maybe 10 feet across. And there's this large desk, probably made of some sort of heavy wood. You can't really tell what kind because it's more shades of gray. There appear to be bookshelves lining the backside. There is a sort of a board on the left side where notes and parchment has been put up and pinned and all that. And there are two bodies in this room. One is, with your passive perception, female. You think the body is not in good shape. It is rotted, bloated a little bit. The other is, you think, a man, most likely, but you'd probably have to get closer to really tell.
So Rue just kind of peeks in and leans back out, and she says, "No, there's two bodies. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, it smells awful." She just kind of pushes the door open the rest of the way.
The rest of you, as you enter, do the same thing.
I would guess they've been here 2 days at least. Maybe less, given the heat.
And these two, there are definitely blood spatters next to the woman's body. She's sort of slumped in her chair behind the desk. Sort of this pale yellow hair that has gone sort of sallow. The other body has the distinct look of the black veins beneath it. This one isn't sunken, it isn't gaunt. Just looks decayed.
So, what should we do? Do we... I don't see any drugs around.
I would like to get closer to the woman's body to see if there's anything besides the obvious differences.
Yeah, make me a. I mean, if you're doing sort of like a check to see how they died, a medicine check.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're just sort of checking over them in general, investigation.
Okay. I was actually curious how her body was different than the other two.
Okay, yeah. Give me an investigation check then. 21. So, she has been torn. Sort of. There are 3 great gouge marks across her torso. Deep cuts, and you can see the splatter of blood that leans away from this body. And you're gonna guess that the way that this body has been killed, there's some guts, most likely. And that's probably contributing especially to how foul it is in here. This one appears to have died from lacerations and blood loss.
So you said like across the chest?
Yeah, sort of straight like across from like shoulder down to stomach. Just 3 great gouge marks across it. Other information you get with your investigation, the dress she is wearing is very well made. It is most likely a very rich cloth. She is most likely very wealthy. Especially given that she's sitting behind a desk in the mansion. But this might confirm that perhaps she is whoever owned this house. What's everyone else doing while Owen looks at this body? There's one other body sort of collapsed in a corner.
Veston can look at that body in particular. Wow.
And Creighton's gonna open all the other doors.
All right. And Rue?
Rue's kind of looking more towards the ground to see if there's any disturbances. The knocked over bag downstairs was pretty obvious, but up here, does there anything look like it's been moved around, dropped, that sort of thing?
Okay. Okay. Rue and Veston, you both make me investigation checks. Creighton, you make me a perception check, please. It's been quite a few nat 1s this game. We have yet to see a nat 20. Creighton, you are off exploring the other rooms. The room further down the hallway on the left, the last room, leads to a very nice bedroom. 4-poster bed, silk covers, plush carpet, vanity, balcony that probably looks out over a street or something like that. In fact, you can check and it looks out over the street to the left side of the house. If you go down to the other end, you find the one to the. So if you're coming up the stairs, the one on the far wall to the right leads to some sort of bathing room. Nice wrought iron tub, buckets, and other bathing accoutrement. The tub is full, but the water is cold. And the last room is what appears to be some sort of guest bedroom. And you're currently there as we move to the other two. Rue, you look around and there is, strangely enough, sort of a fine powder on the ground that has piled up in areas. And you probably like go down to like take a swipe with your finger, see what it is, and it's sooty. It makes your finger sort of ashen. And you look around and there is papers tossed all across the ground. Looks like the sign of some sort of struggle. Something happened here. Vestin, you go over to the body and it is collapsed in a corner, sort of turned away. It's got that same sort of necromantic black veined look, but non-desiccated. As you turn it over,
He's wearing gloves, by the way.
with gloves.
Gloves.
As you turn it over, the arm sort of is unveiled, and you see that this arm is not a human arm. This arm grows hard and rough, like leathery, like not quite scales, not like Kraton, not like a dragonborn you've seen. They are rough and misshapen as it grows larger and thicker down to this long clawed hand, and you can see blood drying on 3 long clawed fingertips.
Hey, Owen, you might want to come look at this.
And as you say that, you all hear this. As white shapes begin to form almost out of the ground in this room, and these horrific humanoid-shaped mists rise up. And that's where we're going to end today's session. As I choke on doing that sound.
Wow. We're dead.
Wow.
And Creighton, you're in another room, and you did not hear any of this.
No.
We're all wrong. It's not werewolf drugs at all. It's ghost drugs.
I mean, one of them could potentially be a werewolf. A weird arm.
Oh, geez. Okay, wow. The Streamlabs sounds on this channel are very startling. It's like an arrow thwip that is very loud, and then an axe. And welcome, Raiders. We are actually just wrapping up this session. But thank you for joining us. This will be on VOD here real soon. Yeah, I mean, welcome to streaming where you raid someone that's just about to leave. But thank you, Wandering DM, for the rave. Much love. Hope you had a good session. But yeah. Every time that Streamlabs notification goes off, it startles me. So yeah, that's where we end today's session, with seemingly ghosty figures rising out of the ground and 2 bodies in a room. I hope you all had fun. Yeah, so why don't we go around the virtual tabletop once more? Just remind everyone who you are, where we can find you, what you might be doing this week. Let's go the other way. V.
Hey everybody, I'm V Fergie. You can find me everywhere as V Fergie, even here on Twitch. I stream a lot of Dead by Daylight, and I'm about to get into some GTA 5 RP since I got whitelisted. And then you can also find me Saturdays at Ready Play Go, where we're streaming our Shadowrun the 6th edition game, Neon Static Skies. Where I play a completely different character called Clutch Bunny. So yes, that's where you can find me. So yeah.
Awesome. Go follow V. They do amazing fun roleplay things. Love catching your stream when I can. Let's move on to Wild.
Yes, hi. I'm Wild Engineer. Gosh, I'm actually doing quite a few things starting this week. On Thursday, I'm playing Masks New Generation, Super Sentai version on Welcome to the Party. That'll be Thursday night. On Friday, I am actually running my own game of Masks New Generation. I'm GMing, so that'll be fun. And on Saturdays, you can catch me on Other Dog's channel for some Invisible Sun. Yeah.
Nice, man. I miss Invisible Sun. Such a fun system.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah. And Ryan.
Yeah, I'm Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at GMORPC. As far as what I'm doing this week, gonna do a Makeup Tales from the Loop game. Playing D&D with my regular group on Saturday, and potential Star Wars Edge of the Empire on Friday.
Nice. I love Tales from the Loop and Things from the Flood. It's probably one of my favorite tabletop settings and systems. Nice.
Super easy too.
Yeah. I don't have to roll anything in that system, which is great. Yeah. And Stella.
Hi, I am Stella Luna here on Twitch. I'm a variety streamer. You can find me at Twitter at StellaLuna_TV. I do various things. I do artsy fartsy things on Wednesdays, and I do a bunch of D&D. I play at Runaway Robot _ on Thursdays and Sundays, playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist. And on Fridays at my channel, I do Sci-Fi D&D Dark Matter by Mage Hand Press, and Saturdays I do Pokemon D&D.
Yeah, Pokemon D&D. Definitely something that I've thought about running at one point or another. Looks like a lot of fun. I am Imperator Pengu on the Twitter sphere. I do tabletop RPG stuff. I will probably soon be trying to keep somewhat of a regular streaming schedule on my channel on Imperator Penguin. Mostly playing co-op video games with friends. And the best thing to do is just follow me on Twitter. I'll be posting a schedule with when and where you can find me. Monday nights you can find me over on Tales from the Grim, playing Urban Shadows, where I do actually play a werewolf. There is a real werewolf in that. And yeah, I think that's about it. Why don't we look for someone to... I actually don't know if I have the ability to raid. Might be able to from... Yeah, there we go. Okay, I can probably do it from the dashboard. So why don't we find someone else to raid? And while I'm doing that, anyone got a good raid cry we can do here? Anything that stuck out today? Pumpkins. Do we not like pumpkins?
Werewolf
Don't eat
drugs.
pumpkins. Werewolf drugs. Werewolf drugs. There we go. Let's go raid. How about Laugh Love Lindy? They're running Miss of Ravenloft over there. And our raid cry is going to be werewolf drugs. There we go. All right. In the meantime, thank you everyone for joining us for our premiere. I had a lot of fun, and I love my cast here. Go follow them. They're amazing. And I always like to end all of my streams with, I hope you have a good week, and I hope that, you can find a little kindness in your week and pass it on, because the world could certainly use more of it. Good night.
Those, you just go to a holy person, a cleric, a great healer, anyone who can perform some type of restoration magic is able to cure that kind of lycanthropy. But the curse, typically, you can try that. It'll work about half the time, but the other half of the time, you have to break the curse. To cure that. It'll work about half the time, but the other half of the time.
That makes sense. I mean, it seems like that's almost easy.